43 win over UMSL, and she is here to visit a little bit about that game. But before we start, I've got to ask you, are you the next contestant on American Idol? Let's hear that voice.
I know, it's really good right now. It doesn't hurt. It just sounds bad.
You're not ill then? It's just one of those laryngitis things?
I've just been getting it the last few days, and the girls aren't complaining about it. So.
Well, I asked Steve Broughton when I did the interview before the game, when it comes to a crucial situation, is he going to yell or are you going to yell? And I saw you lean over and say something to him a couple times and then him get up and yell.
Yeah, actually the players couldn't hear me very well. There was a couple times I got fired up and I think they heard me, but I had to call a timeout one time to make sure that they were going to hear me. They could at least read my lips. But
right.
Yeah, I was telling Coach Broughton because they did in the first half really had a hard time hearing what I was trying to call offensively, and he did a great job. And the officials were trying to tell him to sit down, so I talked to the officials at halftime, and then they started laughing. They're like, now we understand, and they were okay with it.
Well, I want to talk about the officials in a moment, but first let's talk about Steve, because he has come to your program this year after such a successful high school career. What has he meant to you here in the first part of this season?
He's such a great coach, but I think we complement each other pretty well. He's always the glass half full, and the girls just love him, and he knows basketball really well, but he relates so well to the players, and he's becoming a really good friend of mine, and we have a lot of fun together, and I couldn't ask for anything better. It's been really good for him, for him to be here with me, and it's been a big help for me. And I had Chad for 7 years, and so it was a change, and I miss Chad, but Steve's really come in, and it's been better than what I even thought it could be.
We talked and have talked about he has brought his press with him from Truman High School. And what other areas of the game has he influenced for you?
Yeah, I think he sees little things pretty well. He's just so laid back, and I think that's good for the kids. And the press, has been an adjustment, but it's been really good for us, especially I think moving up to the D2 level. I've talked to so many Division II coaches that pressed so much at the NAIA level, and I asked them why they changed, and it was because they would get beat because there are so many kids that could handle the ball. But the way we have the press set up, and we don't get beat very often with that. We don't give up a layup anyway, and it took the girls a while to buy into it, and just because it was so opposite from how we always have rotated, and but it's something that they've bought into now, and I think we have some confidence with it, and teams are adjusting to it, but our players are adjusting pretty well with it also. But Steve just he brought that with him, but just a knowledge of basketball. It's nice to have a veteran coach beside you that's been kind of gone through everything and seen different situations, and I can bounce things off of him. I've actually yelled at him a couple times on the bench, and he laughs about it now, but I usually apologize about 5 minutes after I do that.
Well, let's talk about the press for a second. I keep calling it a soft press. It's not necessarily designed to take the ball away, but kind of slow things up. Am I saying it right?
Well, we have different looks out of it. We have a soft press where we kind of stay off, where we can slow it down a little bit. But it's also more of aggressive. The press that I've always run has been meant to get steals. This one's more meant to take some time off, maybe hurry them up and take a shot that they didn't want to take. And I think you see that quite a bit. We'll be chasing, and maybe some of the wrong kids are open right away. They're taking the shot maybe they didn't want to, and so that's helped us. But we have different things that we can do out of it, and we can also actually line up out of a man out of it. So it's been kind of fun, and just took a while to feel comfortable with it.
It's the HyVee Halftime Report, and Jill Cress visits with us here at halftime. The Jewel men down 34-28. You mentioned Chad Thomason, who's now coaching in high school in Iowa. Can you update us on how he's doing?
Actually, he's won 5 of his last 6 games. They really struggled early, and he was kind of frustrated. I think the girls were frustrated because it was a new system, and he brings a lot of energy, and he is so passionate and so competitive, and I know that was killing him, and he was having a hard time. And they left after Christmas, came back, and they have won 5 of their last 6. They just beat Shep. Shep beat him earlier. Shep was my assistant coach for 2 years, my high school coach, and somebody that's been my mentor and someone I always looked up to. And I know Chad really formed a great friendship. Well, they're in the same conference, and Shep helped him get that job. So the first time they played, Shep's team won, and this time Chad won, and Chad always gave me a hard time because when we played Baker with Susan Decker, I was always mixed emotions. I love winning, but I always felt badly for her. And he's like, this is the first time I finally figured it out. He's like, I love to win, but I felt bad for Shep also. And so it's been neat to see him grow into that. I know he loves teaching there, and it's been a really good fit for him.
Kiara Marshall started out the year as a volunteer assistant, I think, for lack of a better term, and she left you at semester. Update us on her.
Yeah, I was just thinking I need to call her, but she went to Virginia State, got a graduate assistant job there, not in basketball, but in the athletic department, and I was really excited for her to be able to have that opportunity, and because she was worried about where she was going to go to graduate school, how she was going to pay for it. It just kind of came out of the blue. She applied for it, doesn't know anybody there. Told me she found out on the Friday and she left on Saturday for Christmas break. So it was hard for me. I love Kira, and she's pretty special to me, and I know she'll do really well wherever she goes.
And then let's get back to the game tonight a little bit. The win over UMSL 59-43, and I told you I was going to ask you about the referees. This is kind of strangely ref tonight, especially in the first half, because you ended up with a lot of fouls.
We did end up with a lot of fouls, and it was kind of hard to get a read. Tasia got what I thought was a cheap foul. She's a strong kid.
Foul?
Yeah, and there was a smaller kid, Gardner, but she flopped, and so the second time Tasia got the ball, she really was tentative and turned the ball over. And Chelsea's calls with her, I mean, she's pretty active with her hands, but one thing you can do, and I asked the official at halftime, you can put your hand on somebody if you remove it. And they said, yeah, that was okay. And well, to start the second half, that's what Chelsea did. She had her hand on it and removed it, and they called that foul. So, it was kind of hard to get a read on that. But I thought our players really lost their focus for a while with that in the second half, and kind of rolling their eyes and kind of feeling sorry for themselves when UMSL was making the run and we were getting a lot of fouls calls. And you can't do that. And that was one of the timeouts that I took. It doesn't matter what they're doing. To me, the officials really don't care who wins. And you got to remember that you're going to get some bad calls, and I thought we did, and I'm sure probably UMSL thought they did in a couple of things, but we got called for a lot more fouls than what we usually do, and especially I thought that team was much more aggressive than probably we were, and so I kind of thought maybe they'd get called for more fouls, but I thought the kids adjusted to it and played, and really proud of our bench. We had a lot of our kids, our starters, and kids that get a lot of time sitting that first half, and we really still made runs. Kids came in, were ready to play. Even the players that didn't get in were really focused in on the game. And I'll be honest with you, I think we get out athleticized in a lot of these games of the D2 with strength and things. And it's kind of neat. I told the players this. I always talk about family, but they've really kind of bought into that. And it's just neat to see they're excited for each other. When one person isn't playing well or one person's sitting, somebody else steps in, and the person that's sitting is just as excited for them. And right now, I think that's why we're winning games, is we've got a chemistry, and the kids are having fun on and off the court. They really like each other.
As I recall, you haven't lost since that Northern Kentucky blowout. Is the family thing, the coming together thing, has got to be a part of that, I would guess.
Yeah, I just it's just fun to watch them. It's a fun. I told them the other day. I look forward, and I have in the past on most of my teams, but I look forward every day, just coming to practice, just to see them, and I mean, they're just funny. They'll joke about things, but they work hard. You can get them to work hard, and very. We've had a couple practices where it's hard to kind of get them motivated, but it's such a long season. But they respond, and they respond to each other, and it's really, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun having Steve, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to and enjoying.
Quick scouting report on Maryville Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, they haven't lost at home, so in the conference. So that's something we're going to tell our players tomorrow. And they're good. They're pretty athletic. They're a lot like UMSL. I mean, they're just go after it, play hard, and we just have to be ready to play every game. And the players, the players are enjoying it right now, and they'll keep working hard, and we'll see what happens.
This is kind of your kind of team here, the underdog role every night, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually that's what they picked us last, and I think the players are kind of motivated by that.
It's been a while since we got to share a halftime like the old days.
Yeah, I know. So I kind of miss this, Rick.
I kind of do too. Thank you, Coach, and
thanks.
Congratulations again on the 59-43 win over UMSL tonight. The Cardinals are 11-3 overall and 6-2 inside the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Cardinal men trail at halftime, 34-28. We're back with more